Yeah, so in 1999, there was an ad campaign in the subway and on billboards around the city by the police association saying stop crime, and they used two Latino men in the pictures. So we were protesting the ad campaign by the police, so that is why we put the sign up. So these two cops came up to us. They came up to us and they said, take it down. And we said no, and they said, this truck is not moving in this parade today. And they went and they got Pride parade officials, and they came, and the Pride people came to us and said, take it down. And we said, no, it's not happening. We have the right to do this. And then these two white women in gray suits came over to my friend and I, who were the spokeswomen for the group, and they very quietly said, who is in charge here? And we said, we are. And one of them said to me, take those signs down. You're breaking the law. And we said, we are not breaking any laws. And she pulled her jacket back and she put her hand on her gun, and she said, those signs are coming down today. People have no idea. And here we were, women, not doing anything except having a good time and making a public statement. And we said, no, it's not coming down. And when we went into the parade, from the time we started, it was just amazing, the response, the positive response that we got. Yeah. So the Rose was one of the few women's bars on Parliament, just south of Wellesley, between Wellesley and Carlton. It's now condominiums. And September of 1989, I came outside to get some air, and I was sitting outside. And next thing I know, these two cops come across the road and grab me, and it was this huge guy. He just picked me up, and a friend who came to look for me saw him picking me up, and then he threw me on the street, and he put his foot on my back, and he pulled my arm up behind me like that. And I said, are you crazy? What are you doing? He says, you're disturbing the peace. People like you shouldn't be in this country. You're waking up the people who are living in this neighborhood. And I said, but I was sitting here not doing anything. And at that point, other women started coming onto the bar. So they started saying, what's going on here? So he picked me up, and I knew my rights. I looked at him and I said, I have your badge number. And as soon as I said that, he threw me aside, and one of my friends caught me. And I said, I could have you charged. And he says, what are you going to charge me with? I was helping you. There was a car coming right at you. I said, I have witnesses. He said, you see my buddy over there? That's my witness. Nothing will ever come of this. And sure enough, nothing did. When I tried, nothing did. But back then, if you took on the police, you were put in jail with no explanation. Women of color, gay men too. And when they found out where you lived, there were all kinds of things would be happening at your front door. When I turned 60, it was like, I can't believe I'm 60 years old, that I actually made it. I would say to young people now to just remember that you're going to be down at the spectrum in a number of years, and to be gentle with us and to think of yourself as you get to that point. And also for those of us who are now at this, what we call our golden years, how do we create safety so we don't have to go back into the closet? Back then, I didn't think I was going back into the closet, but in the long-term care system now, in retirement homes, there are people, queer people, who are in their 80s who are going back into the closet because they don't feel safe. And that is such a sad state of affairs.